Welcome back to the world of true crime. In today's episode, we dive into a chilling case where arrogance meets the law. This is the story of Jeffrey Scullin, a young man who thought he could outsmart a polygraph test and dodge the consequences of a heinous crime. But as we'll see, sometimes the truth has a way of catching up with you, no matter how smart you think you are.
We're going to go after the premeditated murder, and do you know what happens with that? The death sentence. You're not going to be around very long.
Reno, we do want to warn folks at home, these details are chilling.
In the suburbs of Ohio, a heinous crime was committed that seemed more suited to a horror film than the quiet streets located in that suburb. Melinda Pleskovic, a 49-year-old beloved teacher, was preparing for her daughter's wedding, which was only 5 days away. However, the anticipated celebration turned into a nightmarish scenario when Melinda was found brutally murdered in her own home.
The apparent murder of a beloved teacher, 49-year-old Melinda Pleskovic, was found in her home with stab wounds on Monday. She later died at the hospital.
Melinda Pleskovic, we now know, was not only stabbed, she was also shot. That's according to the Cuyahoga County.
Jeffrey Scullin, a young man of 20, had been living with the Pleskovic family, fully integrated into their household, as he was engaged to Melinda's daughter, Anna. On the surface, Jeffrey seemed like a devoted future son-in-law. He was the one who dialed 911, his voice strained with shock and grief as he reported Melinda's tragic death. In that call, Jeffrey presented himself as a shattered man, affected by the brutal loss of someone who was about to become his mother-in-law.
We just came home. She's on the kitchen floor. I took her son and my daughter outside. Her husband is inside with her now.
So the husband attacked her?
No. We just came home.
You came home and found her injured on the floor?
We found her in the kitchen. She's not moving. I took the kids and I walked outside. I didn't know what.
So does she look like she was beaten or what?
She has blood all around her. I didn't look. I grabbed the child and left.
But beneath this facade was a different story. Jeffrey's portrayal of innocence began to crumble under scrutiny. The days leading up to the murder and his behavior during and after the crime portrayed something contradicting the grief-stricken fiancé he tried to project. Jeffrey's actions were confusing. Just a week before his arrest, he had made a 911 call where he expertly mimicked shock and horror at Melinda's death. His performance was convincing enough that it initially threw off his family and friends, leaving them stunned when he was later charged with Melinda's murder. What came to light was Jeffrey's skill in deception, not just in his acting during the 911 call, but in the web of lies he had been telling for months. In the months leading up to the murder, Jeffrey reported several suspicious incidents. Mysterious strangers attempting to break into the house, car alarms going off without cause, cash disappearing, and nails stuck in car tires. Interestingly, he was the only one who witnessed these incidents, and his presence during these so-called break-ins and thefts started to raise red flags.
And you just talked about or mentioned the attempted break-in at that door. Tell me about that. So
I was in the kitchen doing dishes. The big dog, the big black dog, I don't know if you met him, he's Joey, big black. He was laying next to the door, and the cats, they jump on the door when they want to be let in, they jump on this glass door and it kind of wiggles a little bit, it makes a noise.
They're outside.
They're outside half the time, inside. So I just thought it was the cats, and then, it made a big noise, and the dog ran over and started barking like crazy, and when I rounded that banister thing, I saw the guy's hand. And I realized someone was trying to get in. It was just a white, hairy hand. That's it.
When you say was the hand outside pulling on the door, or
it was inside, like they were reaching for a lock or something. Like can I use your clipboard?
Yeah.
Like if this is the door here, and that's like the top of the silver lock on the sliding door, it was like this, and he was pushing it. I don't know if you thought you could reach in and flip a lock or something.
What wasn't known during the initial 911 call was the depth of Jeffrey's deceit. He had spent months crafting a story of danger and suspicion, portraying himself as just another potential victim. In the local police station, just a day after the brutal murder of Melinda Pleskovic, Jeffrey Scullin walked in for his interview. There was a certain air of confidence about him that seemed out of place given the grim circumstances. He presented a straightforward alibi. He had returned home from a dinner with his fiancée Anna and her father Bruce, only to discover Melinda's lifeless body. His story was clear, and his demeanor was calm, maybe even too calm.
Thanks for waiting, Jeff. Well, let me reintroduce myself, though. I'm Detective Stoltz. Okay. I appreciate you coming here voluntarily and talking to me. You're free to leave at any point or stop the questioning at any point. You're not in any trouble. You're not under arrest. I'm here just to try to piece together what happened.
Someone put 2 nails in his tire, but his tire was flat when he came back in the car and it moved. Mm-hmm. So someone walked up and put the nails in. And then we were talking about the break-in and the attempted break-in thing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. We were just talking, trying to speculate what was going on. We were all blaming a different neighbor and stuff like that. I think it's the girl next door, Laura, her son.
Jeffrey's composure during the interview did not sit right. It was as if he had rehearsed the scenario 1,000 times over. He spoke with a certain arrogance, as though he was certain his innocence would not be questioned. As the interview went on, Jeffrey stuck to his script. He recounted the evening's events with a precision that felt unnatural. His story was too polished. This performance might have been convincing to some, but to the eyes of law enforcement, it was a red flag. Real grief and shock are messy and raw. Jeffrey's polished story was none of these things.
And then you go to your aunt's.
Yes.
On Abigail?
On Abigail Lane.
Is anybody home?
Yeah, Jeannie was there.
Okay. Do you know what time you get there now? How long does all this take? You left shortly after 3. What time do you think you got to her house?
Probably 4:30.
That's a long time.
I was stuck there for whatever. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't find my phone.
From there, where did you go from your aunt's house?
To Applebee's. We went straight to Applebee's. We were all supposed to meet there originally. But Anna told Bruce to go there. And she told me to go there.
And the clothes that you allowed us to take, was that what you wore into?
That was what I was wearing since I left 3.
Okay.
Left at 3 o'clock. The clothes that I was wearing before then, I pointed out to you at the bottom of the stairs. It was kind of pajama clothes. They were just sweatpants and a tight t-shirt. You were welcome to take those ones, though, if you wanted to.
And you wait for Bruce to get there, and then what kind of conversation? Does Bruce come in with anything?
He sat down, he asked if I talked to Mel. And I was like, no, have you talked to Mel? We were all trying to figure out what was going on. Anna walked over. We were all talking when was the last time we talked to her? When was the last time we do this?
Did you guys leave Applebee's together?
Yeah. And then when I pulled in the driveway, he was already waiting by the door. And, it seems everything was normal. Kyle opened the door, the lights were all on, nothing seemed out of place, just looking in. I reached in, put the baby to the right like I always do, because the one door doesn't open, so I always put her to the right. And I went back out, grabbed her bag, grabbed my phone, wallet, and I walked in. And then when I was walking back, about to round the garage, Bruce started screaming about something. I ran in. Kyle picked up the baby and moved her in the living room, the room with the TV, where the couch was, the L couch. He put him in there, so I walked in, ran over to the baby. So you put the
baby right in the foyer right there, to the right, by the stairs?
Yeah, right where the base of the stairs was.
You heard Bruce, what did Bruce scream?
I don't know what he screamed at first. I just kind of heard him yell. So I ran in, I thought something was wrong with the baby. Didn't see her at the door, was yelling, where's the baby, where's the baby? Ran into the kitchen, saw her to the right, ran over there, looked at her, nothing was wrong. He was screaming in the kitchen. I thought something was wrong. I turned around and Mel was laying down.
So you went in, you went to the right for the baby? You didn't look?
Well,
is that what you said?
I looked, but I didn't see. I just looked for the little carrier because I was afraid something was wrong with her.
And who called 911?
I think he called as well, but I'm not sure.
Were you outside when you called 911?
Yes. I ran straight out to the truck. It was rain when I was making my way to the truck.
We talked a little bit at the house. There's weapons in the home.
Yes.
Those are your father's?
Yes.
And when did you bring those into the home?
The other day. Yesterday.
And why did you bring those in?
Because I didn't want to drive around with them in case I got pulled over. That's the only time they were in the house.
Why did he ask you to take them?
He didn't ask me to take them. We were going to the gun show in that car.
And why wouldn't you just put them back in his house?
I never got a chance to stop back over there. You could check them all. None of them have been fired or anything. And there's a hunting knife in there as well. You could test all of them. Go ahead.
And when's the last time you fired a gun?
I fired a gun? Not in a few weeks. Probably a month or two.
2-3 months?
Yeah. I have handled weapons that he has shot, though. I'm saying there might be stuff on my hands from that. I don't know how long it stays on or anything like that.
Jeff, but you said you're afraid to drive around with those guns. The other ones you took inside, and then why would you not take this one inside?
I did not intentionally take those guns, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining things well. I'm very tired. Does that make sense, or?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit further about it.
The detectives listened, taking note of every detail Jeffrey provided, but also reading between the lines. His eagerness to provide an alibi, his detailed description of the evening, and his calm demeanor were unusual for someone who had just discovered a loved one in such a horrific state. The more Jeffrey spoke, the more it seemed like he was trying to cover the truth.
Tell me about the morning. What time did you wake up?
Probably like 10:25, because Anna had to be at work at 10:40. So she woke me up to get up and watch the baby.
What is your baby's name?
Aurora.
Aurora. How do you spell it?
A-U-O-R-A.
How old is Aurora?
A year and 5 months, a year and 6 months, give or take. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with that stuff. Around 1, Mel came home. I don't know the exact time. She didn't tell me she was coming home. She just kind of showed up. So I left. No, I didn't leave. I'm skipping ahead. I'm sorry, I'm really fucking tired.
It's okay. So, what time does Kyle get home?
Exactly 3 o'clock. So I walked out at around 2:56, 2:57, and the bus was already there. Mel pulled in, and she's like, "Hey, what is up?" Say hi.
What time? How long were you guys outside before Mel came home?
No more than 5 minutes, if that.
Okay, so she came home shortly after 3.
Yeah. And then I had the baby ready to go because I was going to my Aunt Jeannie's. I don't know if I gave the one officer her information and everything, so you could call and ask if you need to.
What time did you leave then?
Like, right after. I just walked in, grabbed the baby.
So as soon as Mel came home, you left right away?
Literally, right away.
You ran out of gas on Drake Road. Do you know where at on Drake?
Within view of Gecko? There was a nice man who stopped. I pulled out an umbrella, this little umbrella. I was going to walk with the baby carriage and the thing. Like, I couldn't find my phone. I didn't know where it was. But I was going to walk, the plan was, but someone stopped and asked if I needed help. And I gave him $10, and he went and filled the gas can up and brought it back. He was very nice.
The initial interview was crucial. It set the tone for the investigation and marked Jeffrey as a person of interest despite his confident claims. The detectives knew the significance of gut instincts and experience. They could sense when something was off, and with Jeffrey, too many things did not add up. His overconfidence had only served to make him more suspect.
Did you call 911?
I think he called as well, but I'm not sure.
Were you outside when you called 911?
Yes, I ran straight out to the truck. It was rain when I was making my way to the truck.
We talked a little bit at the house. There's weapons in the home.
Yes.
Those are your father's?
Yes.
When did you bring those into the home?
The other day. Yesterday.
And why did you bring those in?
Because I didn't want to drive around with them in case I got pulled over. That's the only time they were in the house.
Why did he ask you to take them?
He didn't ask me to take them. We were going to the gun show in that car.
And why wouldn't you just put them back in his house?
I never got a chance to stop back over there. You could check them all. None of them have been fired or anything. And there's a hunting knife in there as well. You could test all of them. Go ahead.
And when's the last time you fired a gun?
I fired a gun? Not in a few weeks. Probably a month or two.
2-3 months?
Yeah. I have handled weapons that he has shot, though. I'm saying there might be stuff on my hands from that. I don't know how long it stays on or anything like that.
Jeff, but you said you're afraid to drive around with those guns. The other ones you took inside, and then why would you not take this one inside?
I did not intentionally take those guns, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining things well. I'm very tired. Does that make sense, or?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit further about it. Jeff, let's go back to when your car breaks down. It's just an awfully long time to be on Drake Road for an hour and a half. And so when you say
was I there for an hour? I wasn't there for an hour and a half. I was there less than that.
But you're there for an hour. You said you were there for an hour and a half.
That's bad, I guess.
So really long time, and then you tell me you can't find your phone.
I didn't have my phone. I didn't know where it was.
You said you couldn't find it.
I know, but I'm saying
Okay.
like I didn't physically have it.
Okay, but you could get it. You just got to go to the back, you said, and grab it.
Yeah, but I didn't know if I left it at the house or what. Like, I was looking, and then when I finally, like, when the nice man got me some gas, and I got to the gas station, I sat down, looked in the car, looked everywhere, opened the back door, reached back, looked through all that.
How long were you sitting there before that guy came and helped you?
Maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
And nowhere in that 20, 30 minutes did you want to go see if you left your phone at the house or go to check the car?
I didn't have gas.
No, what I'm asking, though, is, I said it wrong. In that 20 to 30 minutes, you didn't want to check your car to see if you left the phone at
I
the
looked
house?
around, but I didn't want to hop out on Drake and open up both doors with cars.
But even describing those seats, knowing that it drops down there and where it ends up, would be pretty...
I mean, I looked around, I didn't see it. Like, the way... I guess I could have done it better. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining things right. I'm very tired. I'm in bed.
Jeff, how did you get the scratches on your face?
I had a little bumper with the truck. I got tapped. That's from me hitting the steering wheel.
A police report?
No, there was no damage on either of the cars. This side, I don't know what that is. This is what hit me.
You know, what is on this side? So you hit a steering wheel, it's round, so these are going down. Big scratch marks.
I don't think so. It was there last night. It's just from something else. It could be from the selving unit. But this all was there last night. You can ask Anna, Bruce, all of them. And if you need to, I guess you could test my face. I don't know if that's an actual thing.
As suspicions around Jeffrey Scullin grew, investigators recognized the necessity of obtaining evidence. The FBI stepped in and proposed a polygraph test. Jeffrey, perhaps too confident in his own ability to deceive or unaware of the technology's sensitivity, agreed to take the test.
In the process of eliminating, the people that were there on the scene, would you take a polygraph test?
What's that?
A lie detector test.
Sure. Actually, you know what? Wait, I'll talk to my mother about it first, but I guess I'd be open to it. Wow. I thought those things don't work.
They're very accurate.
Oh. Never mind. I just go off stuff I saw on TV.
Okay. Do you have any involvement in Mel's death? Any knowledge?
No.
Of anybody? No?
Besides being there.
Who do you think would do something like this?
She's nice. She's well liked. She's a teacher. Everybody knows her and loves her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, we do butt heads every once in a while. Like, we yell at each other about little stuff, but it's like, who doesn't? If I had to say someone who did it, I would probably say the person that tried to break in the other day. There's a police report about that. Someone tried to open the door while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want, I don't know.
What?
I don't Bruce gets all mad sometimes, like when he drinks, but he wasn't drinking or anything today, I don't think. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, she's told us a few times if he comes home, like when he's drinking, just to leave or call the cops and stuff. But I really doubt he would do that. He really loves her. I think he really cares about her. But everyone, I mean, she's great. I don't know anyone who would hurt her. She's a teacher.
In that room, hooked up to the machine, Jeffrey's overconfidence began to crack. The polygraph, with its steady recording of physiological signals, was unmoved by his assurances. Despite his attempts to maintain composure and repeat his rehearsed alibi, the machine captured a different story. The results were clear. Jeffrey Scullin had lied.
Let's see where we stand. Let's look at we use an algorithm.
I'm allowed to look at it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want you to look. I want to show you the stuff. You know, there's no magic. There's no magic. You have probably 99.9. You have a significant reaction. Let me see. What are the questions you're having issues on? Okay.
What?
5 and 7. Did you? Okay.
What was I having reactions?
You're having reactions to these red questions, which are the causing the injuries, knowing for sure. I want to take a look at the chart. And very large response here. Not so large here. Some there. Did you cause those injuries? Yeah, absolutely you caused those injuries. Now what I want to do is get an understanding of why it happened. That's what we need to do, is what happened, what caused it, what did Melinda do that caused a response from you? What did you do? Let me think here. And so what I want to do is be able to move us towards this verification test, first and foremost to show that it's not an intentional thing. Did you intentionally plan to hurt her? Was there a plan? It happened. And what I'm trying to figure out is why it happened and to make sure that it wasn't a cold, calculated thing. I don't want people to draw.
I would never hurt anybody intentionally.
Okay, perfect. I would never hurt anybody intentionally. So what caused it? What did she say or do?
I don't even remember doing anything. That knife was in the bag.
Okay, in the bag. And there were guns in the bag?
Yeah, but I never...
What did she do? Was the bag with you? Was it in the premise?
It was in the house,
Okay.
downstairs.
Okay. And downstairs is where you live, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where we stay.
Okay. So did you have the knife and gun upstairs and then she said things or said something and a reaction? I mean,
I don't carry those around.
Okay.
They stay downstairs and
right,
go downstairs.
right,
I recognize the knife.
right. Well, let's talk about, we know what happened, okay? Let's talk about why and try to get an understanding that, because you said yourself, and I'm going to write this down, I never intentionally hurt her. Unfortunately, the situation happened. You know what? I would love to make it go away. I would love to make it go away. But we can't. And the way we move forward is helping everybody understand what's going on, okay? I mean, you have Anna, you love Anna. You have a daughter, okay? You want to maintain a relationship. You want to maintain a relationship for the rest of your life with your daughter. You want to maintain a relationship with Anna. How do we do that in this scenario, in this situation? By being truthful. You have all the marriage stress going on. I'm married. I know it's stressful. You got a brand new baby who you love dearly. You got a wife or a fiance, and you're living with the in-laws. You know what that shows? That shows a scared guy. That would show us a guy that's just scared to hell. You know what? Oh my God, I made a mistake. You know, this is my future. This is my wife's mother. She's generally a good person. I just couldn't take something that was said or something that she did. And that's what I want to test on. Because You know why? If I can test on it, then it backs you. Otherwise, people can draw whatever conclusions they want, and we don't want that. We want you to have a relationship with your daughter. We want you to have a relationship with Anna. When you and Anna fight, you kiss and make up, right? And I kind of metaphorically saying it's the same thing. Obviously, this isn't quite the same thing, but the mechanisms towards reconciliation for who you are as a person don't ever stop. You make mistakes. Hey, I made a mistake. I want to move forward. I don't like it. This is not who I am. I'm scared of the future. I want us to have a future together. I'm deathly afraid of that. That's fine. But you can't run from it. You can't hide from it.
I'm trying to run. I just
Because
don't know.
where are you right now? You're sitting in an orange jumpsuit. Okay. Why? Because all the evidence is there. There's guys up there that say, would you even spend your time talking to that guy? Who gives a damn? You got all the evidence in the world. Did you see what happened? And you're like, wait a minute. That's not the global person. Maybe that's a social worker in me. Maybe that's a person who cares. Maybe that's a person who sees the goodness in you. I do, and other people do. Anna does. What I'd like us to do at the end of the night, write a letter to Anna. Tell her you're sorry. Explain it. You don't have to go into graphic detail, but tell her this is not who you are.
I don't remember doing anything. I remember leaving and getting gas. I don't understand.
Right, I don't remember. I
really
understand.
don't understand.
Well, let's talk about blackouts then. I don't remember hurting her. I don't remember leaving the house. So
I left the house, though. I left the house and she walked in like any other day.
you did leave the house. You didn't leave the house with her how she walked in. What are you most scared of?
Never see my daughter again.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about that. Then let's talk about that. That's a very fair thing to be scared of. Okay? How do you take control of the situation? Can you change the past? Can you change the past?
No.
No, exactly. I can't change the past. There's things in my life that I've done that I've regret, and I'll regret to the last day of my life. But you know what? What do people do when they make decisions they regret? They don't want to go back there. Okay? They say what? I'm sorry. I did make a mistake. Okay? You can't make a person forgive you, but you can give them everything, every opportunity. You can never quit on them. Okay? And that's what you need to do with your daughter. You need to give her the truth. You need to never quit on her. You will be able to see her. You will be involved with her in her life. But if you alienate Anna, I can't control Anna. You owe Anna the same thing. You've got to tell her the truth. You've got to level with her. You've got to tell her what went on and why. If it's something so callous that I hated Melinda and I planned out for weeks to kill her and then I killed her. Well, yeah, I don't think Anna's going to be forgiven of that. I don't think a lot of people would be. But as I believe, this is a mistake. This is an isolated situation, an argument ensured. Something happened that caused a reaction, something inside of you that said, I've had enough of this. I'm tired of being disrespected. And you reacted. It wasn't the best day. It wasn't the best thing to do. But tell people. Tell people, let them know the truth, that you're a human being. We're going to write a letter to them. Well, I'm going to have you write a letter to your daughter and your wife and telling them the truth.
I don't remember. I know that stuff was downstairs.
Right. How do you define who you are? By being truthful. Letting Anna, letting your beloved daughter know the truth. Not making a spectacle of yourself, not putting any more pressure on them. and helping them. And you know, by helping them, you know who else you help? You help you. Because you know what? They're still going to love you. They're not going to be happy with you, but they're still going to love you.
Can I have a minute to myself?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to walk out for a few minutes, okay? Think about it, talk about it, get your head straight, and we'll come back and work on those letters.
My head's killing me.
Yeah. What do we want to say to Aurora? What do we want to say to Anna? Let's tell them. Let's do a letter to them and let them know what happened and why. Dear Anna?
Aurora, Aurora.
Okay, dear Aurora, okay. I want to make sure I spell her name. A-U-R-O-R-A.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I love you very much.
I remember being mad. I just don't remember doing anything else.
Okay. In reference to Aurora. Dear Aurora, I love you very much. Do you want to tell her how you feel?
Yeah.
Okay. I love you so much. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to apologize? I'm so sorry. You don't want to apologize?
No, I do.
Okay.
I think I did do something bad.
What
I just can't remember.
Okay. Well, how about we phrase it that way and we'll talk about it. I am so sorry for doing... You would never mean for Melinda to die or to get hurt, right?
No.
Okay. Well, here, I would never purposely hurt Melinda like that. I never intended her to die. Is that fair? Okay. Well, I don't know if you want to put this part in there. Ultimately, we got to talk about this part, and we can. Between you and I, we can. I don't know if you want to put this with Aurora, because that might be a little too graphic, about the stabbings or the shootings. We have to address that so we can move forward. Hey, look, obviously you were angry. I get it. You never had any intention for her to show it's not a premeditated thing. It's not a planned out thing. I got mad and I shot and stabbed her, or I shot her, or I stabbed her, or I pulled out a gun. I didn't think there was any bullets in it, and then it did, and it went off. I didn't realize it went off, and it did. Maybe the gun just popped. It just went off. It went off because ultimately you pulled the trigger. You and I both know that. But if your intention was not to shoot her, I was just so mad when I grabbed the gun, it went off, and I didn't plan on shooting her. Then let her know that. Melinda got shot. That's never going to go away. That's never going to change. Tell her the truth. Is that a fair representation?
Yes.
Okay.
She went downstairs and found that stuff, I'm pretty sure, or she was looking through stuff.
Oh, okay.
She also had a piece of paper that Aurora might not have been mine for the longest time.
What's that? Oh.
An infidelity committed on Anna's
Okay.
part,
Okay.
which was an iffy subject with me and Anna.
Okay. So she's in your room. She finds the gun that ultimately was used that was used in the shooting. She found the knife. She found the knife because it was with the gun. She found a paternity test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the paternity test shows that you're the father.
Yeah.
Okay. This creates a lot of anger in you, as you said. It makes me mad. And, maybe you grabbed the gun and then it went off. Is that what happened? Is that when you grabbed the gun and it went off?
Yes.
Okay. What was the reason for that? That's what I want to understand. That's what we need to let Aurora know.
And she picked it up and kind of didn't necessarily point it at me, but pointed it near me.
Oh my God.
It wasn't at me.
So she was threatening you? You took it
She's
as a...
screaming at me.
Okay.
I don't know. My head hurts so bad.
Okay. So she's screaming at you. She picks up the gun, points it in your direction. What do? Do you grab it from her?
That's where I don't understand.
Well, you got it somehow.
Got it.
What's
I
that?
just reached up and grabbed it.
Okay. I reached up and grabbed it. And that's when you responded and it went off? So you felt threatened by her?
For a minute, yes.
Okay, okay. I felt threatened by her. And that's what made you, is that what made you so mad?
No, she was yelling, Aurora isn't yours, Aurora isn't yours.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to answer it all.
Okay. Have you told me the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you hiding anything?
No, sir.
Are you trying to minimize any involvement or anything else?
Is that what
You're trying to.
question?
I'm sorry, my mistake. Are you trying to hide what happened? Okay. And once again, that was not a planned out thing. You didn't plan this 3 weeks earlier, a year earlier.
No.
Okay. Okay.
This wasn't just a blow to Jeffrey's facade, but a turning point in the investigation. The results of the polygraph, combined with his earlier suspicious behavior and overly detailed stories, painted a different picture. Jeffrey's alibi was full of inconsistencies. One of his most bold lies was the tale of a non-existent Good Samaritan who supposedly helped him after he conveniently ran out of gas.
So he fills them up.
I figure worst case is he steals my gas tank and $10. Best case is he came back and he seemed like a really nice old guy. He had red Lincoln and he pulls up and asked if I was okay. I figure worst case is he steals my gas tank and $10. And I gave him $10 to put in there. Gave him one of the tanks. I figured the worst case is he's going to steal, my $10 in tank and that'll be the end of it. Whatever. I gave him a gas can and $10. And I figured worst case he'd steal my $10 in a gas can and I'd still be stuck there.
His previous tales of mysterious break-ins, car alarms, and missing cash now seemed like attempts to build a smokescreen around the upcoming crime. It was evident that Jeffrey had hoped to establish a story of outside threats that would eventually explain Melinda Pleskovic's tragic fate.
Do you know that there's cameras in the back facing your house?
No.
There is.
Where?
On the playground, Deerfield.
Okay.
And it literally hits your house, and if you're in the backyard, to the house to the right of you.
All right.
You didn't know that?
No.
The Thursday before this happened, someone tried to get into the house.
Yes.
Well, that camera captures the back of your house. Nobody came to your house.
Well, then someone was... Sir, I'm telling you what I saw.
But I'm telling you what was captured on surveillance camera. You said he came to the door, you got to the door, and Moose tried to get him.
The polygraph results were not admissible in court, but they provided a psychological tipping point. Investigators now felt even more confident in their suspicions. They pursued the case with renewed focus. They knew now that they were dealing with a man who believed he could outsmart the system. The investigators leaned into his panic. They knew that the elaborate lies he had built up around his alibi could now be used to break down his entire story. Detective Ron Stoltz and Jeffrey Scullin engaged in a mental game that would prove crucial to the investigation. Detective Stoltz employed a strategy of calculated patience, which shattered Jeffrey's overconfidence. He recognized that Jeffrey's arrogance might be his downfall if given enough space to reveal himself. Instead of barraging him with accusations based on the polygraph results, Stoltz allowed Jeffrey to elaborate on his version of events, which were filled with inconsistencies and improbabilities.
So real quick, again, not any trouble, you're free to go. We're just going to talk, go over everything, see if we missed anything. We're looking for help from anybody. So right now we don't have anything that is concrete, the best way to put it. So when we do, we'll tell will tell you and the family.
Yeah. She was wearing a pink shirt when she went upstairs, and she came down wearing a green shirt. And she went upstairs and she changed. She was wearing a pink shirt, and then she changed into a green shirt. I don't know if she was wearing the same pants. I just noticed the color change in shirt. I don't know if she changed pants or anything like that. I just remember the difference in color. Kyle has hit her a few times, so I got scared, yes. I don't like it when Kyle moves the baby. He's hit her a few times. It's kind of scary, but...
Okay, so roughly you leave the house at 3:10 to go to your Aunt Jeannie's.
I think so, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm just really bad.
I mean, I'm not looking for down to the minute, but can we agree? I mean, Kyle gets home, Melinda comes home pretty much right afterwards, and then you get your stuff ready.
As soon as she walked in, I left, yeah.
Okay.
That happens all the time, though, where, like, one person will walk in, just kind of can't stay by himself.
But we know Kyle got home, and she came home very shortly after. She's right there.
Would have been 10 or 15 minutes.
The key moment came when Detective Stoltz directly challenged Jeffrey. When faced with a direct confrontation, Jeffrey faltered instead of maintaining his coolness, reverting to Melinda's vague praises. His shift to commending the victim was a clear and awkward deflection. Moreover, he attempted once more to cast blame on the mysterious intruders he had previously made up stories about.
People come up to the back door all the time.
What seems odd to me is when you heard Bruce screaming. You said initially you were afraid it's the baby, but you'd come in, you'd go to the scream, so you're looking for Bruce, number one. And then
I was more concerned with the baby because Kyle's...
Well, you're assuming that you're wondering if it's the baby, and you're going to... Bruce is screaming, so he must see something with the baby.
He just screamed once. He wasn't constantly screaming, if that's what you're trying to say.
So he screamed. Yes. You're worried about the baby, so you're going to go to Bruce because you're assuming the baby's by him, right?
I was just looking for the baby. That's all I got to say, I guess. I wanted to make sure my daughter was safe.
There's no way, Jeff, there's no way you could see him, see that he's there, and then go to the right without seeing Mel. There's no way. Especially in a small kitchen like that.
I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know what you want me to say.
Oh, it's just not believable. It's impossible to walk in that house, to look over and see Bruce, the guy that yelled, and not the, like, what's wrong? And then there's no way you can miss that. Yeah, I definitely having a hard time with a couple parts of your story, but...
what parts are you having a hard time with?
Well, like I said, Drake Road, there's an awful long time to be there. And then it's so difficult for me to understand you looking over and not seeing anything. So to think of somebody who, is evil enough to do it, it's who could do something like that.
I mean, anybody who knew her. I mean, she's the greatest person. Like, granted, everyone has arguments. Me and Bruce had an argument the other day. We were cool the next day. But I don't get how anyone would be able to do that. Like,
yeah, you don't see that.
I've never seen anything like that.
It's rare when it's that brutal. She's that brutally attacked.
I haven't even been not even really a part of the family that long, and people.
And she took you in.
Yeah,
I mean, you consider her mom.
Yeah, I mean, I never called her mom, but she basically was. She helped me with a lot of stuff. She's great with Aurora. Aurora loves her.
However, these tactics were ineffective against Detective Stoltz, who recognized them for what they were. This segment of the interrogation was crucial. It showed Jeffrey's inability to maintain a consistent and believable story under pressure, and also showed the effectiveness of Detective Stoltz's interrogation techniques. By allowing Jeffrey enough room to say his side of the story, Stoltz let Jeffrey entangle himself further in his lies.
And furthermore, did you know I talked to your Aunt Jeannie?
Yeah.
Did she tell you what we spoke about?
No.
She didn't?
We were there last night.
Okay, did she tell you my conversation with her?
No.
Did you tell your Aunt Jeannie that Moose bit the guy and there was blood everywhere?
I did do that because my mother and father don't like the dog.
So you lied to your aunt?
I did. I said that to my parents too. You can ask them.
Okay. So that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Someone tried to get your house.
The door moved and everything, though.
Jeff, you said you saw a hand. Let's get this part
You
straight.
saw him run away.
That's what we saw.
Mm-hmm. So your aunt didn't share our conversation. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. You didn't get to your aunt's until 6 o'clock.
I'm sorry, what? I saw somebody.
Okay, it didn't happen. Jeff, do you know where I'm going with this?
I do, but I would never.
Where am I going with this?
You're probably gonna say that I did it, right?
Do you know what time Melinda really got home that day? Because it wasn't at 3 like you said.
It's whenever she got home. I don't know.
Let me just tell you this. It was much later than what you're telling me. Melinda doesn't come home when you say she comes home.
What time did she get home?
Doesn't matter. It's much later than what you're telling me. So remember when we first talked, I questioned you, you looked a little irritated about how long, even at that point, when I didn't know as much as I know now, and you said you left at 3. Melinda came home, you left right away. You said you didn't get your aunt's until 4:30. And even I questioned that. I said, it's an awfully long time from Blazing Star to Abigail is roughly, what? How many miles?
I've never
4?
GPS'd it.
5? So I questioned it. You seemed aggravated that I would even question it. I said, that's an awfully long time to get from point A to B, run out of gas, when someone came and helped you 20 to 30 minutes after you broke down. So now, not only is the hour and a half, now the hour and a half becomes 3 hours. 3 hours from when you told me you left, and then by the time you get to your aunt's. So what happens in that time frame?
I left when she came home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if when she walked in the door, I walked out.
Jeff,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
you okay?
I'm shocked. I don't know what's... Am I being charged with something?
Yes.
I didn't do
So
anything.
let me tell you this. Let me just tell you this, okay? All right, listen to me. Okay, you're under arrest. Hear me out. You're under arrest, okay, for the murder of Melinda Pleskovic. Okay? So why don't you stand up, face away from me.
I didn't do anything.
Do you have anything on you that shouldn't be on you?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
Jeff, look at me, okay? Look at me. All right. What happened that day that would make you do something like this? Because you don't seem like the type to do this.
I didn't do anything wrong. She took me in. I never...
Right. That help me understand, help this family understand. Jeff, when I asked you, does this family get along? You said, yeah. You said it's a great family. You said they took you in. Melinda was paying for your wedding. We've talked to a number of people. You know who was the most excited about your wedding? Melinda. Everybody we spoke to talked about how excited she was for you to marry her daughter.
I'm sorry. Can we move these around?
Are they?
Yeah, I'm like, my hands are hurting really bad.
Sure.
It feel better?
Yeah, okay. My shoulder was hurting.
Sure. You want something to drink?
I didn't hurt anybody.
Do you want something to drink? Would you like something to drink?
I'm okay.
Okay. Everybody we spoke to, Melinda was very excited for your wedding. Okay. You brought her a granddaughter. So what happened that day that would lead you to do this? Because you don't seem like the type to do it.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
Jeff, you can make this better or worse.
Sir, I didn't do anything.
Okay. You must have a ton of pressure on you. And you could probably take a lot of this pressure off starting now to do the right thing and help everybody understand what happened that would lead you to do this.
I'm sorry, but I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt anybody.
But you did, and I want to understand why.
I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt anybody.
Jeff, you have an 18-month-old.
She's my world.
Daughter.
I would never.
Your world.
They would.
So do you
I would
want to
never
start?
see her
Do
again.
you want to start making this right so you can see her one day, or do you want to keep going down this path?
I'm not trying to go down a path. I didn't do anything, sir. I would never do anything.
Jeff, did something happen that day that just made you really angry really fast?
No.
Was Melinda an irritant to you about the wedding or anything like that?
No.
Did you guys have words that day?
Yeah.
And what happened?
We talked about little stuff, and then she went to the doctor.
What were the
What
were the things that Melinda would do that would sort of push your buttons, that would just get under your skin?
Just little comments, like she'd make comments, little insults. But whenever she did anything like that, I'd just go downstairs. I wouldn't.
How would she insult you?
Just like when she'd make comments about weight or anything like that. It's little stuff, nothing.
Right.
Jeff, okay. We have the murder weapon.
What's the murder weapon?
We have the knife. It has your DNA on it, and it has her blood on it. So how is that possible?
I don't know. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't do anything.
Listen, Jeff.
I don't believe you intended to. I really don't. While we've investigated this, we've learned a lot about you as well. I don't know that you're a bad person, but something happened that day that really got you upset. What did Melinda do that got you so upset?
Nothing. We didn't even talk that much. We talked more about the baby than anything.
Yeah. Well, what happened that day that got you upset? Jeff, listen. We all have emotions. They all happen in different ways. Something made you very upset that day. Give us an explanation for that. Give us an understanding. I told you, we've been working on this case for a week now, and we understand you. I mean, I don't think you're a bad person. I talked to people you worked with at Berea's schools. Okay? I've done a lot on this. What happened to Jeff that day? What got you upset? Because people have been telling me that you're not a bad guy.
I would never hurt her. If I got upset, I would just walk away like I always do. Mm-hmm. I never hurt anybody.
We're not talking about anybody, Jeff. We're talking about Melinda.
I never hurt Melinda. I never touched Melinda.
The turning point came when Jeffrey, cornered by overwhelming evidence and the relentless questioning by Detective Ron Stoltz, finally admitted his responsibility for the brutal murder of Melinda Pleskovic.
Who's that?
That's my daughter.
Right. Do you want to see her ever again?
I do.
Do you want to see her again? This is your opportunity to see her again. If not, you're not going to see her again. Do you know the difference between premeditated murder and aggravated murder is?
No.
Because I feel that you planned this from the get-go. All that bullshit that we went out there, all the stuff going on at the alarms, you got the whole community in a tizzy. That's you. All right? So how do you want to make this better? Do you want to see Aurora or not?
I do.
All right? Because I tell you right now, we're going to go after the premeditated murder. And do you know what happens with that? The death sentence. You're not going to be around very long. Do you want that, or do you want to do the right thing and see her? You're telling me you didn't do it? Look at me, Jeff.
Sorry.
If the roles were reversed and I was sitting there, I would do everything I can to prove my innocence. Everything. Listen, you're not looking at me anymore. To do everything. You know where I would start? I offered you a polygraph the other day. Take a polygraph. Prove yourself. So do you want to take a polygraph?
My mom told me to ask her about all that stuff. I don't know.
You don't make decisions by asking your mom. Now, Jeff, you're under arrest for murder and you're an adult. You don't make decisions now by asking your mom. Okay, you're beyond that. You're way beyond that.
I think it's perfectly natural for you to not be able to recall the exact time. Now, to be hours off is another story, but, 15 minutes, 20 minutes here and there, I think that's understandable. I think that had to have been a traumatic day for you. Is now the $1 million question.
I have one more question.
Sure.
You could leave these on, but can you loosen them a little bit? The lady did put them on kind of thing.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
Jeff, it sounds like when Melinda came home the second time, I know you're having some difficulty remembering or recalling, and again, I'm not asking for it on the minute, but would I be mistaken? It sounds like this happened pretty quickly after she got home. Would that be true?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Do you remember using Melinda's phone?
No, I don't think I did. I might have. I don't know.
You might have. If I told you about a certain text message, that would help you?
Sure.
Do you remember texting Bruce for him to meet Melinda somewhere?
No.
Using her phone? Why do you say you might have used her phone?
Everything was all blurry for the longest time. Still having trouble trying to figure out what happened. Mm-hmm. What's not real and what's real, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I could help you out with what's real and not real.
All right.
Like a gas station. If you have questions, we have strong reason to believe that you actually used her phone. You don't remember doing that? Because you say you might have. I
don't think so, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong? Melinda was, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, was brutally attacked.
I never even heard anybody before.
And hearing that, how would this happen, that she's so brutally attacked?
I don't understand.
Because I don't believe that it was an accidental shooting at first, because that is one thing, and that's something where you could do an oh shit moment and get her help, come to us and say, this was a complete accident and we're not sitting here. But when she's shot multiple times and stabbed numerous times, that changes things. So that just leads me to believe that the first one wasn't accidental, because your actions afterwards completely suggest after.
The confession was a key moment in the case. The polygraph test, which he had agreed to, thinking he could fool it, played a significant role.
The victim, Melinda Pleskovic, just 49 years old, was savagely murdered by you, Mr. Scullen, in the kitchen of her home, which she had generously made your home. You shot her 3 times and stabbed her a minimum of 35 times. You did so while her son, Kyle, who has Down syndrome, must have been or was in the home. You did so with your own daughter and her granddaughter, Aurora, close by. Then you had the audacity to sit down for dinner with her husband, Bruce, at Applebee's, where their daughter, Anna, worked. Then you returned to the scene of your vicious crime and allowed Bruce to go into the home that he shared with his wife and children and find his wife on the kitchen floor in a pool of blood. You served as a pallbearer at Melinda Pleskovic's funeral, knowing that you were the person responsible for inflicting upon her loved ones and many friends all of the pain, shock, sorrow, and heartache they were experiencing and continue to experience a year after you murdered her. Melinda, or Mel, as she was known to many, was the beloved wife of Bruce, mother to 3 children, Megan, Anna, and Kyle, and the grandmother of your own daughter, Aurora. She was a teacher for 27 years and a family member, colleague, friend, and matriarch or mom of what I understand was an extended soccer family. I did receive 51 victim impact statements, to include those from her husband, her 2 daughters, sister, brother, nephew, great-nephew, mother-in-law, brother-in-laws, nieces, her second parents as they were known, colleagues, friends, soccer friends, and students' parents. I read each and every one of those letters, and the words used to describe Mel include, and I've taken these directly from those letters: awesome teacher, amazing friend, the rock that held her family together, very special, fun, selfless, beautiful with a caring spirit, an inspiration to others, smiling and welcoming, a natural with kids, the most inclusive person, always welcoming, a coach, a role model, had an infectious laugh, patient, a mentor, a great teammate, the go-to person, truly amazing, passionate, a motivator, supportive. She opened her home to others. She was warm-hearted. She was a take charge kind of person. She deeply cared about others. She was always prepared, never afraid to set you straight, the heart of her family, a shining light, best friend, sounding board, and caretaker. There is no doubt that Mel's family and friends miss her terribly, and they continue to suffer each day because of your heinous actions. They do not understand how you could have killed this wonderful woman who opened her home to you and helped you. As you said, she was like a mother to you, and your relationship with her facilitated the offense. So, with regard to the seriousness factors under 2929.12b, there is no more serious offense than what you committed upon what has only been described as a wonderful wife, mother, friend, colleague. The second factor, more serious, is your relationship with her, living in her home, treated like a son, facilitated the offense. There is nothing that indicates your conduct is in fact less serious. Now, as far as factors indicating whether recidivism is more or less likely, the only factor indicating that recidivism is less likely is that you do not have any prior criminal convictions. For legal reasons, you pled no contest. Of course, that's hurt the family because there's no true acknowledgement or remorse that you've displayed at this point in time. But again, I understand that you have legal rights and are reserving those rights. So I cannot, by law, technically hold that against you at this juncture. But again, based upon the letters that I've read, you've not shown any remorse to anyone throughout this process. And again, as explained to me in those letters, Mel's family and friends who had the opportunity to speak with you and watch you in the days following her murder, to include at her funeral, find your actions and attitude after you murdered her to be incomprehensible and abhorrent. And what I think so tragic. is that Mel's son, Kyle, does not understand where she is and continues to look for his mom every day. That is so sad. And you did that. Therefore, on the aggravated murder count 1 that you pled guilty to, the court imposes a sentence of life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years. The 3-year firearm specification, or the 3 years for that firearm specification, must be served prior to and consecutive to that term, meaning that you will not be eligible for parole until you have served 33 years. With regard to count 5, tampering with evidence, that's the felony of the 3rd degree. The court is imposing a prison term of 36 months on that count. With regard to count 6, making false alarms, the misdemeanor of the 1st degree, the court is imposing a period of local incarceration of 180 days. And with regard to count 7, endangering children, again a misdemeanor of the 1st degree, the court's imposing a period of local incarceration of 180 days. Now, those 2 misdemeanor offenses, the time imposed there must be served concurrent with the time imposed on the aggravated murder. And with regard to the tampering with evidence, the court is imposing that concurrently as well. I know the state's offered a basis for the court to impose consecutive time, but I'm not sure that, I think the only possible basis would be under Section B, and I'm not sure that that would, the circumstances surrounding this particular case would warrant consecutive time based upon that portion of the statute, because there are separate findings, as the state pointed out, that I must find, and I think it would be difficult to find that one of those required sections actually applies. So, now, with regard to count 5, though, the tampering with evidence, as part of your sentence, you are subject to upon your release from prison to a period of post-release control to be supervised by the adult parole authority. This would be optional on the part of the adult parole authority and could be for up to 3 years. If you would fail to meet the terms and conditions of any post-release control supervision imposed on you for count 5, then the adult parole authority could modify and or extend your supervision and make it more restrictive, incarcerate you for up to 1/2 of the original sentence imposed by the court, charge you with a new offense called escape, another felony where you would face additional prison time, and if you commit a new crime while on post-release control, you can face the maximum penalties under the law for the new crime committed. There's no restitution that was part of the plea or that's been documented or demonstrated. I'm not imposing a fine. I am ordering that you pay court costs, and credit will be granted for all days spent in custody, in this case prior to sentencing, together with all future custody days while the defendant awaits transportation.
363 days.
You'll be given credit for 363 days. Is there anything further on behalf of the state?
Nothing on behalf of the state.
Anything further on behalf of the defendant?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Appellate rights? You wanted me to read those to him previously, correct? At the time of the plea?
Certainly.
All right. Do you understand, Mr. Scullin, that you have the right to an appeal in this matter within 30 days after the filing of the court sentencing entry?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you were unable to pay for the cost of the transcript, the record, and all relevant documents required for the appeal, that they would be provided without cost to you?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you are unable to pay for an appeal, you are entitled to have a notice of appeal filed without the payment of a filing fee? And you understand that if you are unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, counsel will be appointed for you at no cost.
Jeffrey Scullin was sentenced by Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Pamela Barker to life in prison, with his first chance of parole after 33 years. This sentence was the end of his case, where he was found guilty of the murder of Melinda Pleskovic. If you found Jeffrey's story harrowing, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more true crime content, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Thank you for watching.